The first rule of survival on the frontier was simple: if the cave whispers back, you leave. Lena Calder didn't. She had already broken too many rules to care about one more. Her canteen was dry, her squad was dead, and the red sun of Caro's 9 sank behind basalt ridges like an executioner pulling a hood over the world. The cave mouth yawned before her, ancient, smooth, wrong. Not carved. Grown. Inside, the air tasted cold and metallic, like rain remembering a war. She went in anyway. At the heart of the cavern lay a pool, perfectly still, black as oil, reflecting the ceiling like a mirror. No algae. No ripples. No smell. Ancient survey drones had flagged it centuries ago as non-reactive anomalous matter. Bureaucrats speak for we don't know what this is, so don't touch it. Lena knelt, hands shaking, and dipped her fingers. The water was warm. She laughed once, short, cracked. Figures. When she drank, the universe inhaled. The liquid burned down her throat like molten glass, then went cold, so cold her vision shattered into prisms. She fell forward coughing, retching, but nothing came up. The pool accepted her without a splash, swallowing her reflection whole. And then the whisper came. You have no idea what you just became. Her scream never left the cave. Above ground, 300 kilometers away, the Eshkari Advanced Legion finished purging the last human resistance cell. High Marshal XYR observed the battlefield through compound eyes, mandibles clicking in satisfaction. Humans were disappointments. Loud. Emotional. Fragile. They had surprised the galaxy once, centuries ago, when they survived first contact and learned faster than expected. But survival was not dominance. Adaptation was not supremacy. The Eshkari had waited. Built fleets. Bought senators. Signed treaties with escape clauses written in blood. Now Earth burned, its orbital habitats shattered like glass ornaments. Human colonies fell one by one, always screaming, always begging for time. XYR extended a claw. Transmit to the Council. Operation Cleansing proceeds ahead of schedule. Behind him, an aide hesitated. Marshal, sensors detected an energy fluctuation on Caro's 9. Subterranean. Unclassified. XYR's mandibles curled. A dying species' last prayer, perhaps. Log it. Irrelevant. In the cave, Lena Calder stopped drowning. Her heart should have burst. Her lungs should have collapsed. Instead, something else began beating, slow, vast, patient. The water flowed into her veins, not as liquid, but as memory. She saw wars older than stars. Species that rose screaming into fire and fell silent into dust. Empires that believed themselves eternal, and were proven wrong by time, entropy, or a single stubborn ape with a rock. The pool was not water. It was a ledger. Every extinction. Every betrayal. Every oath broken by the powerful against the weak. It remembered them all. And now, so did she. Lena clawed herself out of the pool, gasping, skin steaming in the cold cave air. Her reflection in the black surface did not match her movements. It smiled when she didn't. Her radio crackled to life, dead frequencies screaming back from the void. Any human unit, if anyone hears this. Earth is. She crushed the transmitter in her fist. The metal folded like foil. Okay, she whispered, voice layered now, harmonized with something old and furious. Okay. I get it. The cave began to shake. Outside, the stars adjusted their orbits by a fraction of a degree. For the first time in recorded galactic history, something ancient stirred, not to conquer, not to consume, but to collect a debt. And it had chosen a human to carry the bill. Lena emerged from the cave at dawn, barefoot, naked, and unarmed. By noon, an Eshkari reconnaissance platoon found her. They didn't survive. She stood in the open, hands at her sides, eyes unfocused as if listening to distant music. Thermal scans showed nothing remarkable. Human baseline, slightly elevated metabolism. The lieutenant laughed. One survivor. Non-combatant posture. I'll take the shot. The plasma bolt hit Lena square in the chest and vanished. Not deflected. Not absorbed. Erased. She looked down, mildly annoyed, brushing ash from her skin. Rude. The ground folded upward like a breaking wave. The platoon screamed as localized gravity inverted in erratic pockets, snapping exoskeletons and pulping organs. Armor imploded, then exploded, as if the universe itself rejected their presence. Lena watched without joy. She could feel the pool inside her now, not as a voice, but as a pressure. A weight of expectation. Every injustice she witnessed added another stone to the scale. She walked. Every step rewrote probability. Supply lines failed. Recon ships vanished. Officers awoke to funerals in their memory where victories had been. The galaxy noticed. Emergency session of the Galactic Council convened in panic. Holograms flickered as delegates shouted over one another, ancient rivals united by shared terror. This violates all known physical law. The humans are extinct. This cannot be them. High Marshal XYRR, claws clenched, stood tall. It is one human. A weaponized anomaly. We will eliminate it. A smaller delegate, feathers trembling, whispered. Marshal, are you sure the humans are not responding? XYRR slammed a claw into the dais. They are dead. This is coincidence. Then the chamber lights dimmed. A figure appeared at the center, not a hologram, not a teleport. She simply was. Lena Calder, wearing a borrowed uniform 2 sizes too large, sipping from a tin cup. Hi, she said. Quick question. Which one of you signed off on orbital bombardment of civilian habitats? Silence. She sighed, sharp, human. That's what I thought. Security fire lanced toward her from every angle. The bolts froze midair, trembling like frightened animals. Lena leaned closer to XYRR, eyes reflecting stars that hadn't been born yet. You called us disappointments. She snapped her fingers. Every Eshkari fleet across known space received the same message, not in words, but in sensation. The feeling of a cave closing in. Of water filling lungs. Of a whisper saying, you have no idea what you just became. Half the fleet went dark instantly. The rest fled. XYRR staggered back, mandibles clicking in horror. What are you? Lena considered. A survivor. A ledger entry. A very pissed-off widow, if you want to get poetic. She turned to the council. You underestimated us. That's fine. Everyone does. But you didn't just attack a species. She smiled, sharp and human. You attacked an inheritance. And then she was gone. The council chamber stank of fear and melted metal. For the first time, the galaxy began to wonder if humanity hadn't been wiped out, but upgraded. They tried everything. Temporal traps. Reality anchors. Black hole lures disguised as refugee convoys. One elder species even attempted diplomacy, sending poets and economists instead of soldiers. Lena ignored them all. She moved like a myth, a space western outlaw, showing up in dying systems, righting wrongs with brutal efficiency, then vanishing. Human survivors began calling her the drinker. Aliens whispered another name, the debt. She wasn't invincible. She felt pain. Loss. Exhaustion. The pool demanded balance, not mercy. Sometimes that meant letting worlds burn to teach the galaxy a lesson it refused to learn. Sometimes it meant saving children who would grow up to hate her. Dark humor kept her sane. When a pirate king begged for mercy, promising to change, she shot him and muttered, "Yeah, my ex said that too." But the cost was mounting. Each act of cosmic violence carved something out of her humanity. Memories blurred. Faces of her squad, names she once recited like prayer, faded at the edges. The pool was patient. It did not care who she was. Only what she did. High Marshal XYRR returned, battered but alive, leading a coalition of terrified species. They cornered her near the shattered remains of Earth's moon, now a graveyard of orbital debris. "End this," XYRR pleaded, voice cracking. "The galaxy will collapse. Trade has stopped. Wars are breaking out everywhere. You are becoming what you hate." Lena floated among the wreckage, boots magnetized to nothing, eyes wet. You think I don't know that? She gestured, and the stars themselves leaned in. I didn't ask for this. I wanted water. I wanted to live. XYRR bowed. Then stop. Let the ledger close. For the first time since the cave, Lena hesitated. The pools surged inside her, furious. Debts unpaid. Crimes unpunished. Humanity's extinction still echoed across spacetime like a scream with no throat. She saw two futures. In one, she continued, until the galaxy was fair, empty, and silent. In the other, she did something very human. She gambled. Lena reached into the void and tore something free, not a weapon, not a fleet, but a concept. Responsibility. She bound the ledger to every sentient species, fracturing it into 1,000,000 pieces, each carrying a fraction of the pool's memory and power. No more singular gods, she said softly. You all drink now. The universe screamed. When the light faded, Lena was gone. Humanity did not return as conquerors. They returned as teachers, mercenaries, lovers, and judges. Every species now carried the weight of history in their bones. Genocide hurt more. Betrayal echoed louder. Empires found it harder to lie to themselves. XYRR collapsed, sobbing, not from pain, but from understanding. Far away, on a quiet, uncharted world, a woman woke beside a river, mortal again, scars fading. She smiled at the sunrise. Some debts, she decided, were better paid together. Centuries later, a young alien cadet leaned forward, eyes wide, whispering to his human instructor. Is it true? About the woman who drank the universe? The instructor, a grizzled veteran with a crooked smile and eyes rimmed with age, snorted. Kid, half the galaxy drinks too much. Doesn't make him gods. But the ledger is just history, the human interrupted. And history only matters if you remember it. The cadet nodded, staring out at the stars, peaceful now, uneasy but alive. On an unremarkable world, an old woman sat by a cave, listening to water that no longer whispered. She had no power left. Only stories. And that, she had learned, was the most human weapon of all. She smiled, a slow, knowing grin, as sunlight warmed her face. Time had softened the weight in her chest, but not the memory of what had been done, or the debt she had carried across galaxies. Somewhere in the void, she knew, humans, and all sentient species, were wiser, more careful, more accountable. They had inherited the ledger not to conquer, but to remember. And maybe, just maybe, that was enough. The cave was silent now. For the first time in millennia, it felt like a friend. She poured a cup of river water, raised it, and whispered, "To surviving and to being human." The universe did not answer. It simply watched. And that was justice enough.